The realm of the paranormal, typically divided into distinct categories, is challenged by the existence of entities that defy these classifications. Ghost-Cryptid hybrids are such entities, elusive figures that blur the lines between apparition and creature, spirit and flesh. They are anomalies that unsettle even the most steadfast believers and skeptics, disrupting the order of the unseen world. One of the most famous examples of these hybrid entities is the Mothman of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. It is a creature of significant size, with glowing red eyes and wings that span over 10 feet. It is neither entirely cryptid, a creature of flesh and blood, nor entirely ghost, a spectral apparition. Witnesses describe the Mothman as having a physical presence, yet also being able to vanish at will. It appears to be both of this world and beyond it, occupying an unsettling gray area in the paranormal landscape. The Mothman's first sighting in 1966 marked the beginning of a series of strange occurrences in Point Pleasant. Unexplained phenomena, such as the disturbance of television signals, the malfunction of cars, and the appearance of strange lights in the sky were reported. The Mothman's presence seemed to precede and predict these events, leading some to believe that it was a harbinger of doom. These patterns of prediction have also been noticed in other cases of ghost-cryptid hybrids. The Black Dog of Bungay, a spectral creature from English folklore, is another example. With glowing eyes and a chilling howl, it too is caught between life and death, tangible and intangible. Its appearance, much like that of the Mothman, is often associated with impending disaster. These cases raise questions about our understanding of the paranormal. If these entities can exist outside of the established categories, then what does that say about the structure of the unseen world? The existence of ghost-cryptid hybrids challenges the perception that the paranormal can be neatly divided into ghosts, cryptids, and aliens. The reality, it seems, is far more complex and far more mysterious. Such entities unsettle us not just because they break the order of things, but because they hint at a world far more intricate and interconnected than we had ever imagined. A world where cryptids are not simply elusive creatures hiding in the shadows, and ghosts are not just spirits of the departed. A world where entities can be both flesh and spirit, seen and unseen, predictor and omen. It is a world that both frightens and fascinates us, blurring the lines between the known and the unknown. Delving into the origins of ghost-cryptid hybrids, the concept of these dual entities seems to have roots in various cultures around the world, predating even the earliest written records. However, the terminology and specific categorization of these beings as ghost-cryptid hybrids is a relatively recent phenomenon, emerging alongside the growth of paranormal studies in the late 20th century. Historically, many ancient societies held beliefs in creatures that blurred the line between the physical and the spiritual. For example, in Japanese folklore, the yokai is a class of supernatural entities that range from malevolent to mischievous, and are frequently portrayed as having both spectral and corporeal aspects. In Celtic mythology, the Cu-Sith, a hound-like creature said to be the size of a bull, is described as having a physical presence, yet it's also linked with the spirit world, and often seen as an omen of death. Similarities can be found in Native American lore with the skinwalker, a being that is considered to be both a physical shapeshifter and a spiritual entity. The Mothman, as mentioned in the previous segment, first emerged in the public consciousness in the 1960s in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The initial report by two couples who claimed to see a large flying man with 10-foot wings and glowing red eyes was quickly followed by a surge of sightings. This creature's uncanny capability to appear and disappear seemingly at will, coupled with its apparent foreknowledge of disastrous events, marked it as a classic example of a ghost-cryptid hybrid. The Black Dog of Bungay, another example of such an entity, has a history that stretches back further into the annals of time. Its first documented appearance dates back to the year 1577 in the English town of Bungay, Suffolk. During a terrible storm, this spectral dog reportedly appeared in the local church, causing death and destruction. Since then, sightings of the black dog have often been associated with impending disaster. These early witnesses, whether they were ancient Japanese villagers, Celtic tribespeople, or 20th century West Virginians, didn't have the terminology we now use to categorize their experiences. They didn't discuss cryptids or ghosts, let alone hybrids of the two. Yet, their accounts have laid the foundation for our modern understanding of ghost-cryptid hybrids, shaping the way we perceive and classify these enigmatic beings that exist in the twilight zone of the paranormal. The experiences of those who have encountered these entities have been instrumental in our quest to understand the phenomenon of ghost-cryptid hybrids. These accounts, often relayed by ordinary people who unexpectedly found themselves in the midst of the extraordinary, serve as our most valuable source of information. Take, for instance, the case of Mary Hyre, a newspaper reporter based in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, during the Mothman sightings of the 1960s. Her diligent reporting and records of the Mothman sightings, along with her own personal encounters, have been a beacon for those investigating the creature. Her experiences were further confirmed by police officers, who independently reported sightings of the mysterious entity. Similarly, the accounts of the Black Dog of Bungay were primarily documented by the local clergyman, Abraham Fleming. Fleming's descriptions of the beast, its appearance during a fearsome storm, and the tragic events that followed have served as crucial evidence for researchers over centuries. His narrative, while tinged with religious cautionary intent, provides a vivid depiction of the entity, its terrifying presence, and its seeming link to impending disaster. In recent years, these accounts have been supplemented by the work of dedicated investigators. Paranormal researchers and cryptozoologists, such as Lauren Coleman and David Weatherly, have pored over countless accounts and conducted field research in an attempt to understand these complex entities. Their work often involves interviews with witnesses, examinations of physical evidence, and extensive historical research. There are also those who claim to have a more direct line of communication with these entities. Mediums and spiritualists, such as the renowned Lorraine Warren, have reportedly made contact with these ghost-cryptid hybrids. While this evidence is often more subjective and open to interpretation, it nevertheless provides another perspective on these enigmatic beings. Then there's the physical evidence, which, while rare, is highly compelling. Unusual tracks, strange disturbances in the environment, and, in some cases, photographic and video evidence have been put forward in support of these encounters. The infamous Patterson-Gimlin footage of a supposed Bigfoot, though not directly related to ghost-cryptid hybrids, serves as an example of the kind of physical evidence that can stir public interest and scientific debate. These accounts, investigations, and pieces of evidence form the backbone of our understanding of ghost-cryptid hybrids. Each story, each piece of evidence, each scholarly investigation adds another layer to the complex mystery of these entities. Entities that continue to blur the boundaries, challenge our perceptions, and fascinate us with their defiance of categorization. The reported sightings and encounters with these ghost-cryptid hybrids are as varied as they are chilling. A common thread, however, is the overwhelming sense of fear and dread that accompanies these experiences. The physical manifestations are often inexplicable: chilling drafts, strange lights, and objects moving of their own accord. The hybrids are both seen and not seen, existing in an eerie limbo between the physical and spiritual realms. Take, for example, the encounter of a group of campers in the dense forests of Appalachia. They reported seeing a figure that was part beast, part specter. The entity's eyes, they claimed, glowed with an unnatural light, its body shifting between a solid, hulking form and a near-transparent apparition. They were frozen in fear, as the entity seemed to both occupy the physical space and yet not be wholly part of it. In another instance, a woman living in a secluded farmhouse in the Midwest spoke of being tormented by an unseen creature. The entity would produce strange sounds, akin to animalistic growls and spectral whispers. Doors slammed shut without anyone near them, and she would wake to find objects in her home inexplicably displaced. Her pets would hiss and growl at seemingly nothing, their fur standing on end. Despite numerous investigations, no rational explanation could be found. In urban settings, too, these entities have been reported. A night watchman at an old factory in Detroit shared his unnerving experience. He spoke of a creature that was at once a massive, shadowy figure and a whispering echo. The figure would appear at the corner of his vision, disappearing when directly looked at. An oppressive silence would descend upon the factory, broken only by the soft, chilling whispers that seemed to come from all around. In these cases, the entities break the rules of both ghostly and cryptid encounters. They are not just physical creatures hiding in the shadows, nor are they mere spectral apparitions. Instead, they inhabit a space that is both and neither, challenging our understanding of reality and the natural order. These strange occurrences, these sightings and sounds, and the physical disturbances that accompany them defy conventional explanation. They seem to demand a new framework, one that can account for entities that are at once physical and spectral, that are both seen and unseen. These ghost-cryptid hybrids continue to challenge us, their very existence, a question that hangs in the air, a question that haunts the boundaries of our understanding. While the narratives surrounding these ghost-cryptid hybrids are undeniably chilling, it is only natural for the scientific community to seek rational explanations. Various theories have been proposed, aiming to ground these strange occurrences in the physical world. One theory suggests that these entities might be attributed to cryptids which possess bioluminescent or light-reflecting properties, similar to certain deep-sea creatures. In low-light conditions, this could make them appear spectral or semi-transparent. However, this theory fails to explain the spectral voices, the sudden changes in temperature, or the object displacement reported in many encounters. Another line of scientific inquiry points towards psychological factors. It posits that the fear and stress associated with being in a potentially dangerous or eerie environment could trigger hallucinations or misinterpretations of natural phenomena. It even suggests that culturally ingrained fear of the supernatural might play a part in creating these hybrid apparitions. While this theory might explain some of the visual and auditory experiences, it doesn't account for the physical disturbances that often accompany these entities. Then there's the hypothesis of infrasound. Certain frequencies of sound, too low for humans to hear, can create feelings of unease or dread, and can even cause visual hallucinations. Some scientists propose that naturally occurring infrasound, or that produced by unknown cryptids, could be responsible for these experiences. Still, this theory falls short in explaining the consistency of these encounters across diverse geographical locations and settings. Some skeptics point to deliberate hoaxes or misidentification of known animals and natural phenomena as potential explanations. They argue that the human mind is adept at finding patterns and making connections, even where none exist. Yet, this skepticism does not adequately address the multitude of accounts from credible witnesses or the physical evidence left in the wake of these experiences. In the end, none of these theories seem to fully encompass the range and the idiosyncrasies of the ghost-cryptid hybrid phenomena. They remain elusive, existing in the margins of our understanding, daring us to reevaluate our perceptions of reality. The phenomena invite us to consider a world that is far stranger and complex, a world where the spectral and the corporeal intertwine, a world that humbles our scientific prowess and leaves us standing at the precipice of the unknown. The human psyche has always been a fertile ground for the seeds of fear and belief, and from these, the towering trees of folklore have grown. The varied tales of ghost-cryptid hybrids are but one forest in a vast, global landscape of supernatural narratives. Yet, these stories, as diverse as the cultures that birthed them, share striking similarities, patterns that suggest a commonality in human perception and interpretation of the unknown. These entities often embody the human fear of the unknown and the uncontrollable, taking forms that defy categorization and challenge our understanding of natural laws. They are not merely ghosts, bound to the ethereal realm, nor are they simply cryptids, creatures of flesh and blood. They blur these boundaries, becoming something more, something that transcends our traditional classifications. In doing so, they tap into a primal fear, the unsettling idea that there may be things in the world that we cannot comprehend, cannot predict, and ultimately cannot control. The stories we tell about these entities also reflect cultural beliefs and societal anxieties. They often serve as cautionary tales, warning listeners of the dangers of straying from societal norms or venturing into forbidden territories. In other cases, they may represent the embodiment of collective fears or anxieties, the specter of a past trauma, or the embodiment of an uncertain future. Across cultures and through time, these tales have similar patterns. They often involve encounters in liminal spaces, those places that exist on the edges, neither fully one thing nor another, just like the entities themselves. These might be the shadowy woods that border a village, the murky depths of a local lake, or the twilight hours between day and night. The entities are frequently associated with specific locations, tied to them by some mysterious, often tragic, history. Furthermore, these encounters often involve an element of pursuit or evasion, with the entity either stalking its prey or evading capture. The narrative tension created by this chase reflects the human struggle to understand and control the unknown. The entity, like the mysteries it embodies, remains tantalizingly out of reach. The enduring nature of these tales, their pervasiveness across cultures, and their shared motifs suggest a deep-seated human need to personify and narrate our fears, to give a face to the unknown. These narratives, in turn, shape our perception of these phenomena, influencing how we interpret and react to encounters with the uncanny. In the face of these ghost-cryptid hybrids, we are reminded that the world is full of mysteries that elude explanation, that our understanding is always evolving, and that sometimes the shadows of our knowledge hold entities that break all categories. These entities, spectral and cryptid, challenge us, frighten us, and ultimately fascinate us, for they represent the boundless realm of the unknown that exists just beyond the edges of our understanding. Beyond the societal and psychological perspectives, there exist other, more esoteric interpretations that might shed light on the uncanny nature of these ghost-cryptid hybrids. These explanations touch upon concepts of spirits, interdimensional beings, energy imprints, and otherworldly consciousness. In spiritual and metaphysical circles, these entities are viewed as projections of energy, either residual or intelligent. Residual energy is akin to an echo, a playback of a past event or emotion imprinted on the fabric of reality. These imprints are often tied to traumatic events or high emotional states, resonating through time and space. This concept might explain why these entities are often bound to specific locations, manifesting in areas that have been marked by tragedy or intense emotional upheaval. Intelligent energy, on the other hand, is thought to possess consciousness and will, capable of interaction and communication. This interpretation paints these entities as spirits or souls, perhaps lingering on our plane due to unresolved issues or strong emotional ties. In this view, the entities may be attempting to communicate, to share their stories, or perhaps to warn or mislead those who encounter them. Then there's the concept of interdimensional beings. Theoretical physicists speculate about the existence of multiple dimensions beyond our own. In this framework, these ghost-cryptid hybrids could be denizens of these other dimensions, only partially perceivable in our own. Their strange appearances and behaviors could be a result of their interdimensional nature, distorted by our limited perception. Lastly, there's the notion of these entities as manifestations of a collective or otherworldly consciousness. Some theories propose that all life is interconnected, that we are all part of a vast cosmic consciousness, From this perspective, these entities might represent focal points of this consciousness, manifestations of collective fears, desires, or memories. Each of these explanations offers a different lens through which to view these enigmatic entities. They suggest that these hybrids might not simply be figments of our imagination or cultural artifacts, but could represent a deeper, more complex reality. They remind us that there is much we don't understand about the universe and our place within it. In the presence of these ghost-cryptid hybrids, we stand on the threshold of the known and the unknown. They represent the mysteries that lurk in the darkness, the questions that haunt our dreams, the shadows on the edges of our consciousness. They challenge our perceptions, shake our certainties, and remind us that we are, and perhaps always will be, explorers in a universe of endless mystery. As we move into the 21st century, the narrative of ghost-cryptid hybrids continues to evolve, shaped by technological advancements, increased connectivity, and a growing fascination with the supernatural. The stories of these entities, once whispered around campfires or shared in hushed tones in dimly lit parlors, now reverberate through the digital landscape, amplified by the power of social media and the internet. In recent years, there has been a resurgence of reported sightings and encounters. The Mothman, for instance, once a chilling tale of the late 1960s, has made a dramatic reappearance. In Chicago alone, more than 50 sightings were reported in 2017. Witnesses describe a large, winged creature with glowing red eyes. This renewed activity has brought with it a fresh wave of fear, curiosity, and speculation. Likewise, the spectral black dog of British folklore, said to be an omen of death, has also been sighted with increasing frequency. From the misty moorlands of Yorkshire to the urban sprawl of London, reports of a large, hulking hound with glowing eyes have sent shivers down the spines of locals and tourists alike. This ongoing activity is not limited to sightings. The advent of technology has brought with it new methods of capturing evidence. Ghost hunters and cryptid enthusiasts alike now arm themselves with an array of gadgets, from infrared cameras to electromagnetic field detectors, in hopes of documenting these elusive entities. The internet is awash with purported evidence, grainy footage, eerie audio recordings, and anomalous readings that suggest the presence of something beyond our understanding. Academic interest in these phenomena has also grown in recent decades, with universities and institutes conducting rigorous investigations into these sightings and experiences. Paranormal research, once relegated to the fringes of academia, is gradually being recognized as a legitimate field of study. Scholars are delving into the psychological, sociological, and metaphysical aspects of these phenomena, seeking to understand not just the entities themselves, but the profound impact they have on individuals and societies. The emergence of citizen science initiatives has further fueled this pursuit of knowledge. Armed with smartphones and a sense of curiosity, everyday people are now contributing to this field, documenting their encounters, sharing their experiences, and analyzing their findings in online forums and communities. This collective endeavor is not only shedding light on the enigmatic nature of these entities, but also fostering a sense of unity and camaraderie among those who seek the unknown. As we forge ahead into uncharted territories, these ghost-cryptid hybrids continue to occupy a unique space in our collective consciousness. They bridge the gap between our physical world and the world of spirits, between earthly creatures and otherworldly entities, challenging us to expand our understanding and embrace the mysteries that lie beyond the realm of the known. In the shadows of the mainstream, there exist more fringe theories about the true nature of these ghost-cryptid hybrids, theories that might sound fantastical or even absurd to the uninitiated. Yet, in the world of paranormal research, these ideas are seriously considered and meticulously studied. One of the most contentious theories posits that these hybrids are the result of secret government experiments. This theory is grounded in decades of rumored government involvement in paranormal research. with proponents suggesting that these entities might be the fallout of clandestine projects gone awry or even deliberate attempts to create new kinds of life. The specter of government conspiracy introduces a layer of intrigue and foreboding, adding to the enigmatic aura that surrounds these entities. Then there's the theory of time slips. This concept suggests that these entities might be creatures from different times, somehow slipping through the cracks of time and appearing in our world. This would explain the anachronistic nature of these beings, their appearance, and behaviors that seem out of place in our reality. The idea of time slips reframes our understanding of these entities, turning them from anomalies into temporal refugees lost in our timeline. Another perspective argues that these hybrids may be related to portals or dimensional doorways. These gateways, invisible to the human eye, could connect our world with other dimensions or realities. The hybrids might be the inhabitants of these other planes of existence, crossing over into our world through these interdimensional doorways. This theory suggests a universe far more complex and interconnected than we can currently comprehend, opening up endless possibilities for exploration and discovery. Finally, the most radical theory yet. These entities are manifestations of non-human intelligence. This perspective posits that these beings are not spirits or cryptids, as we understand them, but rather a form of consciousness wholly alien to us. They might be attempting to communicate or interact with us, their appearances and actions, a form of language that we are yet to decode. While this theory may seem far-fetched, it opens the door to a broader understanding of consciousness and intelligence, challenging our anthropocentric views of the universe. These theories, as extraordinary and controversial as they might be, represent the wide range of perspectives within the field of paranormal research. They challenge us to think beyond our conventional frameworks, to consider possibilities that would seem impossible under normal circumstances. And while they may not offer definitive answers, they do contribute to the ongoing dialogue, encouraging us to keep questioning, exploring, and seeking the truth about these ghost-cryptid hybrids. In this vast cosmos, where the galaxies themselves are but specks of stardust suspended in the infinite expanse of space, we find ourselves contemplating the existence of ghost-cryptid hybrids, entities that challenge our understanding of the natural world, that force us to question the very foundations of our reality. They represent not only the mysteries of our planet, but also the mysteries of our consciousness and our place in the universe. Theories have been proposed, evidence has been analyzed, and yet the truth remains elusive. The nature and origins of these beings continue to be shrouded in mystery, their existence a tantalizing puzzle that beckons us from the shadows of the unknown. Each theory presented offers its own unique perspective, yet none can provide a comprehensive explanation. It seems that the more we delve into the secrets of these entities, the more questions arise. Could these beings truly be remnants from a bygone era, time-displaced creatures lost in our world? Or could they be visitors from other dimensions, interdimensional travelers crossing into our world through unseen gateways? Could they even be manifestations of non-human intelligence, alien consciousness, trying to communicate with us in ways we are yet to comprehend? Each question leads to another, each answer further complicates the enigma. And as we grapple with these questions, we are forced to confront the limitations of our understanding, the boundaries of our knowledge. We are pushed to the edges of our comfort zones, challenged to think beyond the realm of the familiar, to venture into the realm of the unknown. Yet, amidst the uncertainty and enigma, one thing remains clear. The existence of these ghost-cryptid hybrids challenges us to expand our understanding of the world, to reevaluate our assumptions, and to open our minds to the myriad possibilities that the universe has to offer. They remind us that the universe is a place of endless mystery and wonder, a place where the line between the possible and the impossible is constantly blurred. We may never fully understand the nature of these entities. The secrets they hold may forever remain hidden in the shadows of the unknown. But in the quest for answers, we journey into the heart of the unknown, pushing the boundaries of our knowledge and our understanding. So we find ourselves circling back to the question, what truly happened here, and could it happen again? The answer, it seems, lies just beyond our grasp, hidden in the shadows of the unknown. But it is the pursuit of this answer, the quest to understand the unfathomable, that drives us forward. As we stand on the precipice of the unknown, we are reminded that the universe is a place of endless mystery and wonder, a place where anything is possible. And it is in this spirit of exploration and discovery that we continue our journey into the unknown. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of Paranormal Files. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, gain access to bonus content, and unlock our full library of podcasts, subscribe to the Forbidden Knowledge Network on Patreon. Subscribe now.